G'day guys, Jake here and welcome to this Journey Van Builds tour of Mel's Toyota Hiace camper van. This is a 2006 Hiace that Mel bought for her trip around Australia. So I'll give you a full van tour now and check it out. Starting outside the van, any alterations we've made on top here, we've added some roof racks to cater for the 175 watt solar panel on top from Renogy. And over at the back there behind the roof rack, we have a max fan as well for ventilation. On the sliding door here, we have a Eurovision gull style camping window, which is really practical with a flyer screen built in as well to just get some more airflow and light in the van. Moving into the kitchen area outside here, we have an external cooking bench here that can lock shut for a single gas cooker to cook outside if you'd like. And down the bottom here, we have a little bidet hose, which can be used as a little shower, to fill up drink bottles, wash your feet, whatever you like really. That's a really practical addition in there. So now moving inside the kitchen a bit, we have all the storage. First of all, everything close to the door, we pretty much use for your kitchen storage. So pots and pans down the bottom here, cans, bowls and plates, and then cutlery and spices up the top, your smaller things. And that's good to have right next to the door here because obviously the most of the time you're trying to cook outside. So just to have everything here is really practical. Moving in further, we have the Bushman's upright fridge here. This is a 52 litre fridge, I believe. It's a really practical little fridge. It's a great size, I think, for a Hiace. There's plenty of room in there. And around this, we just have some more storage. It can be used for either kitchen storage or just general storage as well. There's a big drawer up top. And also a vertical drawer on the side here, which is really, really handy just to be able to store some sort of more awkward shaped items as well, like bottles of wine or oil, things like that. We've got room for a little bin in there as well. Looking above here, we've got the, what is it? Tassie Oak timber benchtop, the hardwood benchtop, which is really nice. It's a really nice finish. Mel's picked these tiles to go on the splashback as well with some hardwood trim. That is a really, really nice upgrade, I think, from my van. It looks really good, I think. And as well, we've got the sink on top of the bench here, which is really good because it saved some space underneath for our plumbing. And of course, we've got the tap there in the back corner as well. Up here, just for, I don't know, a little bit of practicality and styling, we've got a little spice rack, we're calling it, which will basically just be for housing plants, I guess, maybe some soap. It's worth mentioning this open space here in the corner, which is a really practical addition as well. It's a bit bizarre because of course you're trying to make practical use of every square centimeter possible, but just to leave yourself some open space is really practical in the end. Just to have room to stow a backpack or a bucket with a wetsuit, anything like that that you just need to sort of get out of the way. It's really handy to have some free space. And it does also give you access to your plumbing system in there. Although the system is designed that you don't need to access it on a daily basis, it's just for maintenance and things like that. It's good to know that you do have access in an emergency situation. Over in the corner down behind the kitchen here, which you can't actually see right now, but it is behind the driver's seat, is actually where all of the electronic hardware is mounted. So that's a really, really huge space-saving tip to be able to get all of that tucked down sort of in an otherwise unusable space in the van in this back corner here. The back corner of the kitchen cabinetry is a notoriously difficult space to use because it's not really accessible. So but to be able to have all of our 12 volt system in the back there, accessible from the driver's seat, is a huge space saver. Quickly running through the 12 volt system, we have two sources of charging our leisure battery, starting first with the 175 watt solar panel, which you saw on the roof earlier, as well as DC to DC charging our battery from the car's alternator. So that is all controlled through our Renogy 2-in-1 battery charger, taking solar and DC to DC in one device. And that pumps our Renogy 100 amp hour lithium ion battery and keeps it nice and full. From there, it's just running out into a simple 12 volt fuse block to power all of our 12 volt appliances, as well as a Renogy 1000 watt inverter, which gives us house power or 240 volt power in the office area, which I'll show you shortly. On the end panel of the kitchen here is where we control the majority of the electronics throughout the van. So we have a few switches, including the on-off kill switch for the 12 volt pump. Underneath that here, we have an LED downlight dimmer switch that also works as the on-off switch as well. If you just turn that all the way down, it clicks off. But to have them dimmable is always really, really nice. Here we have our Renogy battery monitor, which is connected to a shunt in the 12-volt system. So like any battery monitor, that's going to show you your battery voltage, which is to tell you the state of charge that you've got. But where this monitor does a little bit more than that is, first of all, it converts that battery voltage into a percentage for you, which is just kind of nice. It tells you the percentage battery you have rather than you having to assess the voltage and make a guess for yourself how much charge you've got in your battery. And it also shows you how much amperage is coming in via your solar or DC-DC, as well as how much amperage is being used throughout the van. So at any given moment, you can see if what you're using in the van is more or less than the solar coming in, or vice versa. So that's just kind of fun to nerd out about and really have a good understanding of your whole system in the van, what's coming in, what's going out. And finally, on the end there, we just have a dimmer switch for the puck lights in the ceiling, which is, again, they're just your standard lights that you'll be using, but to have them dimmable is always a nice plus, because I find you rarely want them on 100%. So yeah, again, the dimmer is just always really nice. Over here, opposite the bed, we have the majority of the storage for clothes, as well as a few other nooks and crannies for other storage options as well. So you got your two really big cupboards either side here for t-shirts and bits and pieces, as well as a nice big drawer here in the middle. And then, like I said, lots of different nooks and crannies and options for storage. A little shoe cubby hole down the bottom. Mel actually asked for a couple of different little drawers in this one as well, just to be able to, you know, put her phone at night or some surf wax, things like that. Something that's really important about this storage area as well is how it uses the space around the wheel arch, which is quite difficult to make use of. So we're really happy with these little slides here, just to open that space up underneath. Yeah, you can shove whatever you want in there that you're not really accessing every day. It's just a nice open space in there. On the left here, we also have a little laundry chute, or at least that's what I like to think of it as. It's just, yeah, a nice big space to put your dirty clothes and keep them out of the way. And moving into the middle here, we have our centerpiece, of course, which is our desk, sort of home office, van office working area. I'm a huge fan of the home office, or even just the desk in general, because it kind of takes the van from a little weekender, you know, camper van to a genuine van life option, having somewhere to work, as well as at night, if it's rainy, having a little table that's just instantly accessible is really, really practical. We've added the little LED light in there for some practicality. This is where your 240 volt power comes out as well, so she can plug in her laptop here to charge her laptop while she's working on the road. So yeah, hugely practical little area that. Moving on from the desk area, we have probably the most important part of the build, which is our bed. So this is a slide out bed, a convertible bed, which gives you the functionality of a day use area during the day and to use your desk with the sofa setting, and then to be able to convert that into your bed at night. So the way that we go about that is you pull it off the catches here, and we've used metal ball bearing runners to keep everything nice and smooth. And then it actually comes out over to your storage section over here and sort of latches up and onto this support rail on the other side, meaning that while you are sleeping, the runners here actually take none of the weight, so they're not going to get damaged or break over time. As far as the convertible style of beds go, I'm a huge fan of the slide out runners as opposed to a fold out bed or anything like that, where you have to take everything off the bed to make that conversion. These keep things nice and simple. Even if there are a few things on the bed, it always, you know, it pulls out nice and smooth and it's ready to go. If you're having to do that every single night to make your bed, having it as easy as possible is really important. So this is actually divided up into two sections as well for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's really difficult to pull out the whole bed at once, but it also sort of acts as an L couch as well for use with your desk. If you have a couple of people in the van on a rainy day, it is actually possible to sit around this desk with the L section out like that. The second half of the pull-out bed, it's the larger section and completes the bed. Again, hooks up onto our rail on the side here to take the weight of the bed, and you simply put your mattress in like this, nice and snug, so that when you're sleeping on it at night, you're not going to fall in between those mattresses. And it is nice and comfortable. That isn't actually a problem, as you may think it is. And just like that, your bed's ready to go. So as you can see, it's pretty easy setup. As for your dimensions, your bed is 1.85 meters long. The initial bed box is 60 centimeters wide and the extendable section is 50 centimeters wide. And you can see over on the side here, we've actually got some additional bedside storage, which gives you an extra 20 centimeters or so in the side of your mattress. So these just pull out really easily, simply. That's where I keep sort of mostly things that I'm not using every day, as well as just your bedding, sheets and pillows and things like that. It's really handy just to have some out of the way storage to have right next to the bed. Something that I want to say about this bedside storage is that it actually makes great use of the other wheel arch area, which is quite a tricky sort of area with the dimensions to make use of. So just being able to shove down some, soft linen and sheets in there and pillows is actually a fantastic way to use that space. So that's our bed set up and ready to go. I'll pack it up quickly and just show you the storage underneath there as well. So that goes over there, nice and easy. And we're already done. So inside the bed here, we actually do have some extra access to the storage underneath, just in case you do need it. I don't access this all the time, but it is just important to be able to get in there, something ends up down this end, or you just have some bits and pieces up there. Underneath the bed here, we have the largest storage area in the whole van. It was really important to Mel that she be able to fit a surfboard inside the van here, so she didn't have to keep it on top with the roof racks. So as you can see, the whole bed here is actually completely open underneath. So she's able to fit her 6-foot surfboard underneath, which is perfect. Other than that, we have a few gadgets throughout the van that just make life on the road that much more practical. Starting at the back here, beside the bed, you can see we've got a light switch which turns off all of the LED puck lights in the ceiling, as well as a USB-C and USB 3 to charge your phone at night. Above those there, we have a wall-mounted fan, which is really important in hotter weather. Obviously, it makes all the difference having some active airflow on you when the max air fan isn't quite enough. With that being said, we do have the max air fan up there, which is one of my favorite additions you can put in a van. Having circulation in the van is an absolute must, in my opinion, for not only just the livability and temperature inside the van, but also for the health of your van and how your van is dealing with condensation and moisture buildup overnight as well. While we're here, we might as well talk about our curtains as well, which are actually a shutout blind to be able to shut out light to keep things nice and cozy inside and make sure nobody can see in and you have your privacy. And on top of that, they've actually got a few magnets built in here and there to make sure that they are nice and shut at night and there aren't any gaps sort of in the curtains to really make sure you have a private space. Finally, we'll have a look at a few of the styling decisions that Mel made throughout the van, which have really made all the difference to sort of give it the character that it has. Most notable is the nook over here on the wall, which we're really, really happy with. It's just nice to have a little bit of a feature piece there, and whenever anybody does look at the van, it's always a crowd favorite as well. On the wall here, speaking of feature pieces, we have chosen to go with a texturized paint to kind of mimic a bit of a concrete look or a bit of a rendered look on the wall, which Mel had a huge input on, and it's come up really, really well. We're really happy with how that texturized look looks and feels in the van. Other than that, for our finished surfaces on the ceiling, we have pine lining boards which have just been stained and varnished. And for the flooring, we've used a vinyl click together system, which is a hybrid floorboard. So it gives us some water resistance as well, which is really important in the van, as it's always going to be exposed to the possibility of leaks or maybe some rain coming in. So having that moisture resistance is really important in the floor. If you're happy with how this build's come together, you can head to my YouTube channel for heaps of content on how you can create something like this for yourself. And if you're interested in any of the products or components used in this build, head to journeyvanbuilds.com for full product lists there. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.